And joining us now is our sidelines analyst, Cameron Worrell. 6 years in the league with the Bears and Dolphins. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Yeah, everything was in their hands. The Broncos go down. All they have to do is win, and they win the AFC West. Couldn't get it done. And you saw that. I mean, that video footage was ugly. Philip Rivers throwing the ball all over the place.
A lot of issues there.
Not to mention the fact that they set the all-time record for penalties in a season.
Yay!
Just undisciplined play on both sides of the ball, especially that defense. You know, the front seven that was really dominant early in the season, we saw none of that today.
Sacks
no pressure on Philip Rivers. That was the key, the catalyst early in the season for that defense. And unfortunately, down the stretch, it just wasn't there. Kind of the tale of two teams in the Bay Area, the 49ers who play disciplined football. Alex Smith takes care of the football. The Oakland Raiders, they do the opposite. They give up big plays. They are the most penalized team in the league. Carson Palmer struggled with throwing interceptions. This team, they just played fundamental football. They played tough defense. They scored when they needed to. Alex Smith was a good game manager.
Over 3,000 yards.
Right, right. You know, an underrated season for him, but he has some weapons like Michael Crabtree and Vernon Davis to work with. This is a team that I promise you nobody wants to see in the playoffs because they don't give up big plays. They don't have penalties. And Jim Harbaugh will pull a trick like this. Saints are unbeatable at home. You know, the Lions aren't going to go down there and take care of business. Drew Brees is too good. I think that I like the Falcons going up to the Meadowlands, but Eli Manning's played at just a little bit of a higher level right now than Matt Ryan, so I like the Giants at home. Number one against the pass. He's really been horrible the last 3 weeks in that 3-game losing streak, turning the ball over, not hitting open receivers. Today, he goes up against the number one rated pass defense. They don't give up big plays. 10 completions for 316 yards, 31 yards a pop. He puts balls on the money like this pass to Eddie Royal. He stepped up. He took what Pittsburgh gave him, you know, this little draw play. Everybody in the stadium knew he was going to run it. He still gets in the end zone.
You said you wouldn't want to play the Giants right now. They're a scary football team right now.
Yeah, because they got back to what they did when they won the Super Bowl in 2008 and run the football. 170 yards rushing today. They were 32nd in the league during the regular season. That front four gets after the quarterback, and they've played solid all the way through, and they didn't have an offseason. You know, they were locked out until, you know, 2 or 3 days before training camp. So for Jim Harbaugh to come in and do what he's done with this team that was 6-10 last year, he's led them to the NFC Championship game at home. You have to have firepower to play with the Patriots this season. Tom Brady was good today, efficient. They ran the football. They scored when they were in the red zone. The Raiders had problems. They're a team that is getting better, but if they don't rush the passer, they struggle covering guys, and that's what we saw today. I'm not sure they're on the Packers level right now. The Packers are, you know, they won the Super Bowl last year. Aaron Rodgers is well established. But if they can score points like this, if they can rush the passer with that front four, what they can do with Ndamukong Suh and Kyle Vanden Bosch, they're going to be competing all year and definitely one of the top two teams in the NFC North.
Jets have lost 2 straight. Patriots are rebounding against the Raiders. What do you think?
Yeah, the Jets are horrible on offense right now. Can't protect Mark Sanchez. When he is protected, he makes mistakes. The Patriots are rolling. They lost to the Bills, but that offense is clicking on all cylinders. I don't see the Jets slowing them down at all.
So you think they could lose 3 in a row here, the Jets?
Yeah, the way their offense is playing, I know the defense is playing good football, but when you can't put points on the board, especially against Tom Brady, you're going to struggle. I just don't see them having the firepower to put up the points to compete with the Patriots next week.
All right, Cam, thanks.
To see a D lineman and an offensive tackle catch a pass in the same game, you know the guys on the sideline in the locker room are having a great time, and you see that on the field. It translates directly to their performance. Yeah. The Raiders do commit penalties, and they play to the whistle and through the whistle sometimes. Richard Seymour is tough. He sets the tone for that defense, and they do play physical. I don't think they're dirty, and I think sometimes officials call things on the Raiders they wouldn't call on every team in the league. They wouldn't call them on the Packers. They wouldn't call them on the Patriots, but the Raiders, they're going to make those calls, and I think Hugh Jackson has a legitimate beef that his team get called for things that some teams might not get called for.
Jim Schwartz took it a little too seriously.
Yeah, he's kind of a baby in this regard. You said it, Jim Schwartz, when he wins, he's excited.
Right.
Jim Harbaugh has gone on the road 3 out of the last 4 weeks and won. He's obviously excited. He's chest bumping his team, and it was just a little too physical for Jim Schwartz. And this, you know, the Niners went in, they were too physical for the Lions today, and the coaches, the same thing happened. You know, Jim Harbaugh is just excited. I think Jim Schwartz is being a little bit of a sore loser. Jim Schwartz stepped over the line a little bit because he ran up and bumped Jim Harbaugh, which he really shouldn't do because Jim Harbaugh was a first-round quarterback. He's about 6'4". He could probably mop the floor with him, but I expect the NFL to take a look at it. You saw it was an ugly scene at the end of the game, and that was all because of Jim Schwartz running up and bumping Harbaugh. So I think they'll take a look at it. You know, the Niners won before, during, and after the game today. And we talked last week, their recipe for success has to be big plays in the special teams, play solid defense, and not give up big plays. And you saw busted coverages in overtime to set up a game-winning field goal. You just can't do things like this in the NFL and win games, especially when you have an offense that only puts up 200 yards on offense.
All right, Cam, we'll see you in just a couple seconds. Cam.
My guy, great first name, Cam Newton, 12 for 21, 204 yards, set the single-season rushing touchdown record for quarterbacks. Great day.
If you were Plaxico's teammate, how would you take that?
I would have taken offense to that, to tell you the truth. And the worst part about it was he fell on the ground, gave his team a 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty. Next possession, Plaxico cashes it in for 6. If I was on that team, I would have made sure that Stevie Johnson understood how much we didn't respect and didn't like that, like you said, classless display. It might have been all in fun, and if he did it and didn't cost his team, you know, it might have been forgotten. But if you're going to do that, you have to come through right here. Okay, you can't drop this ball in the fourth quarter because that probably would have been the game winner because I don't think you would have been tackled there.
So you're saying, as a D, dropped another one here, too, at the end of the game. But that was kind of a worse pass to catch. The other one was a lot easier. But as a DB, if you're on Plaxico's team, all right, let's take some bets on who's going to knock Stevie Johnson upside the head on the field.
Yeah, we would have made him understand that we didn't appreciate that very much, and all within the rules. But if you're going to do something like that, like I said, your play has to back up those actions. His play did not back up those actions today. He cost his team not only field position but points at the end of the game, and that's all that anybody's is going to talk about now is how he missed those opportunities. So better off just not making fun of Plexico and just handing the ball to the official like you should.